Hello everybody, Megazard here, back at it again to give you another very, well, I would say exciting video though, but it is a video nonetheless though, because recently, a couple of days ago, we did manage to get our look at the latest state of play. Now, is this the state of play that everybody was envisioning as, oh, finally Sony is going to be able to come out with all their different studios and be like, hey, look, here are all these different first party games. Here's your Wolverine and stuff like that. Or here's your next potential new Venom game or something like that. Maybe another look at Ghost of Yotei or whatever though. And who knows, whatever other studios that might be working on. That's not necessarily the case though, but it is a state of play nonetheless though. So in today's video, I want to kind of go through all of the different announcements that they managed to announce, like more of the announcements that kind of resonated with me, or at least I have like a little bit more stuff to say upon it though. And then some of my few issues that I had with this state of play though. And as you can kind of tell by the tone, I'm gonna keep it $150. Like, this state of play certainly wasn't necessarily it though, but we might as well go ahead and jump up in it though. But if you hadn't already done so, make sure you're going to hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. And if you're curious, if you want to support the channel just a little bit more, then feel free to hit that join link down below. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight up into this video. All right, so they managed to kick off this state of play with another look at Monster Hunter Wilds. Look, this game is about a couple of weeks away from it releasing. They've been doing all of these, demo test drives where you're able to, check out this game in terms of like your PC specs, see if they're up to snuff, testing out the online stress testing, all of that fun little stuff though. But this was just more like a casual reminder that the game is coming out though. So this wasn't any like brand spanking new information. It was just like one last look, one last casual reminder, say, hey, this game comes out in a couple weeks, just make sure to pick it up very close to launch date though. So not a bad way to start it off though, but it's not like a big aha, this was a game that we just never heard about before. Then you roll up into the next couple of announcements over here. We managed to get a look at Shinobi, which this game is being made by the creators of Streets of Rage 4. And you know what? I actually dig the art style up on this one. It looks like it's going to be a nice little fun game. I wasn't expecting Sega to be like cracking their bats at it, this much, at least within this presentation though. But regardless to say, hey, you know what? This one looks kind of cool and stuff right there. So not a bad start. And then we managed to get a new look at Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, which, remind y'all, we managed to get a look at this for the first time as a little teaser back within the Game Awards presentation though. That was like a short, almost like 15-20 second tease or whatever. This was like the first good look of it right here, and it looks really cool to see all these different Sonic characters and stuff, the way how they're kind of traversing through like a lot of different worlds. Like, it looks like you might be able to go through the map, be like one map or one lap, and then right after that you go through a portal and it takes like to a whole nother area within the Sonic universe and such though. Looks like you have all these different cars and stuff which are inspired from like different enemies or different cool designs. And then also you saw a jet in the background, like right on one of them hoverboards from like Sonic Riders. I was like, wait a minute, if that could be like your somewhat similar thing to like a carts versus bikes that we have in Mario Kart, I think Sega might be on to something. We'll just have to see how that kind of plays out, or if that's just its own unique mode. Who's to say though? But yeah, that was probably like one of the most like interesting announcements up on there. And there is going to be an upcoming network test within like the next couple of weeks. So that's really cool. I really dig that announcement though. Now, the next one we had was like Digimon Storytime Stranger. Now, look, when they first revealed this trailer off, I was like, hey, they made that thing look so bombastic, like so epic and stuff. I was like, what the heck is this game? Like, I'm scratching my head trying to figure out and guess what this thing was. And lo and behold, with it being a Digimon game, I was like, huh? Man, that was just so funny though. I know Digimon fans have been starving. Like, I know you've been getting some stuff here and there on the side though. I remember back in the heyday when it was like first announced and stuff and it was trying to go head to head against Pokemon and such. Like, there is a dedicated fan base for it though, and it looks like y'all gonna be in for a good time with this one if you happen to be a long-time Digimon fan though. Me personally, not necessarily so, but I can appreciate the different flavor they managed to bring to this state of play right here. Then we managed to get a look at Lost Soul Aside, which this one was interesting because they had the dude come out beforehand and he said he was like a solo developer partnering with PlayStation on this one though. And I would say out of everything else that's like a big AAA game experience that we saw within the state of play, this is the one that probably stood out the most, just in terms of like the creativity, some of the colors, some of the weird stuff that I don't know what that dude was walking on, some like floating crystals, kind of doing like some 180s up in the sky or whatever though. I think this one looked the most unique and it stood out the most in comparison to everything else that we might have had potentially on that list. We still need to see a little bit more information on it though, but not a bad start to a first time reveal or whatever though. Then we managed to also get a couple of looks from the Yakuza series. One other look at Pirate Yakuza, which that one's coming out here fairly soon. So not too much more to kind of add or really, add on to that. But then we also managed to get a collab between Ichiban showing up and Dave the Diver. Oh, Dave the Diver is having a lot of crossovers here lately. Like, what the heck? And then we also managed to get another look at Borderlands 4, which I believe first showed off in the Game Awards just a couple of months ago. So that's nice if you're a big Borderlands fan and stuff like that. And the fact that now we got a release date coming out in the second half of this year, hey, if you're a fan of the Borderlands series, you're going to be eating good here fairly soon. You just got to wait just a little bit longer. On Split Fiction, even though that was announced in the Game Awards, I mean, they just kind of showed us off another good look at it though. And you're starting to recognize here really quick, this feels like a Game Awards 2.5. In terms of like just the announcements and the updates. So a lot of stuff got announced in that, presentation that we just kind of got more updates on if you hadn't caught the drift already on it though. Then we managed to get Onimusha, The Way of the Sword, a really good solid look beyond what we got teased back in the Game Awards though. And there's also going to be Onimusha 2 remaster as well that we can have in the meantime though. So that's some cool stuff there. Man, oh man, now we're cooking over here. We managed to get a good look at Metal Gear Solid Delta and an official release date because, mind you, I think it was like a handful of days before the State of Play even aired out, we managed to get a leak of the trailer from like the PlayStation store or whatever though. So it was technically out there. So we kind of already knew about it though. But in terms of the official capacity, in terms of when they come out and said, hey, this is when it's going to come out, this is our first full confirmation up on there though. And you know what? The game is looking really clean. I'm really looking forward to playing this in the second half of the year whenever it comes out. So I think we're in for a stellar time within Metal Gear Solid Delta. And that's about it in terms of most of the third-party games. I personally had like any positive affinity towards it though, because outside of the stuff I mentioned before, everything else in between was just kind of stuff that didn't vibe or jive with me though. They started off the show a little stronger in the first half and it kind of dropped the ball quite drastically towards like the later second half though. But there were a couple and only two first party things that they managed to come out and announce. And one of them was a remaster for Days Gone. Look, if you have the PS4 version, they did confirm you can pay $10 and get the remaster thing. It's basically almost the same as the original one as the PS4 version, but they did manage to add in a few additional modes and some quality of life features up in there for this PS5 remaster version of it though. So if you're having to be a Days Gone fan, hey, you got something to look forward to. And then outside of that, the big, and I mean the big major first party game, because you got to have something here. It is a State of Play at the end of the day. Like, look, like we ain't here mostly for all just third party stuff. You can have this on any kind of platform though. State of Plays, you tune into these to actually figure out what's the big next Sony game. Just like how with Nintendo Directs, you look at a Nintendo thing, an Xbox developer direct, you're looking at purely Xbox. Like, what do you bring exclusive to the table? And to that, they managed to bring out Ceros, which, remind y'all, they're the same studio that managed to bring to us Returnal. So they said, hey, they're going to evolve upon that third-person narrative experience that you managed to have within Returnal, though. But it's also going to be more akin to like a roguelike where you're kind of going through, you're going to die several different times or whatever, though, and get yourself stronger. All of this was a CGI trailer, no gameplay whatsoever, and that was it. And then you turn around and thinking, well, when is the release date for this? And they hit you with that 2026. And then I know that rubbed a lot of people off the wrong way. Look, if you happen to be a Returnal fan, you might be really looking forward to playing this game, though. But the fact that we didn't get no gameplay and the fact that it's confirmed for 2026, that's a full year from now. Who's to say if it's in the second half of 2026, it's going to be technically a year and a half. And that's all for this presentation. Look, this presentation ran for about a toasty 45-something minutes. I was sitting down watching part of this thing at work. And then when I got home, I sat down and watched the rest of it, though. And I'm just looking at all these announcements. So I was like, it's mostly just updates on stuff that we already knew, with a handful of stuff of first looks beyond teasers that we already managed to get. And nothing else too crazy outside of that. I mean, and and that's a whole nother thing is Sony. Like, where the heck are y'all at? Like, look, you managed to give us two different PlayStation games, right? First party studio stuff. One being a remaster, one being a brand new game. That brand new game with Saros ain't coming until 2026. That brings into question, what the heck are y'all doing for the rest of 2025? Look, I know that we're gonna have Ghost of Yotei drop out, probably more so in the second half of this year though. And more than likely around the summertime when you're having the Summer Game Fest and whatnot happening in the month of June, you're probably going to hit us with some kind of presentation, or it's going to be announced in Jeff Keighley show or something where it's saying, hey, a few months from now, here you go, Ghost of Yotei. That's perfectly fine to Danny though. But it brings into question and wonder, it's like, dang, if we're really only, for the most part, getting like one, maybe two good games from first party Sony studios per year, it's like, what the heck is all these rest of these studios working on? Like, please tell me, or please don't tell me, y'all are basically saving a lot of these titles or working on the next system, what could be a PS6. Like, look, it for a lot of people been clamoring on and on and on about, you know what, like, where the heck is this generation at? Like, it doesn't really feel like it's got started or whatever though. For me personally, since I never had a PS4, obviously didn't have a PS5 until I bought it, I'm getting my works out of it from just the third parties alone, let alone the handful of first party games I'm catching up from PS4 or new stuff that haven't been put out on the PS5. For me, it's perfectly fine. But for y'all diehard Sony fans out there that had the PS4, that went out and bought the PS5, like, this presentation certainly wasn't it for a lot of y'all. And that's the other thing is, like, look, some people might be looking forward to Saros though, but what if you're not like a roguelike fan like myself? Or if you played through the Returnal game and you know it's going to be some similar things from that game that's going to translate into the Saros game that you just weren't vibing with in Returnal, like, what else is there to look forward to in 2026? They don't give you a lot of options in terms of first-party studio games. Whereas if you look at Nintendo or whatever, though, shoot, last year they gave you about like 10 different IPs that you had your choice to pick from, though. So if you didn't like one, there was like at least a couple of handful of other games that you could possibly be looking forward to playing that's brand new. Meanwhile, with Sony, it's like, hey, you're going to have to put all your eggs in the basket for one or maybe two titles. That second title, obviously, is going to be a remaster, and that's all you're getting. That's my major issue with Sony as of late, though, because like I feel like there's so much more that it could be doing and stuff. You just don't understand this stuff. And then even after the State of Play happened to air on Wednesday, on this Thursday, as I'm recording this video right now, they managed to come out in a statement in a PlayStation blog saying, hey, we're going to bring more family-friendly games to the PS5. And obviously they have like Astro Bot firmly on the cover. And they also confirmed that there are 5 brand new levels coming to Astro Bot as well. It's like, wait a minute, you didn't even include that within your State of Play. Literally the game that managed to win Game of the Year, you didn't even include it in here as well. I'm like, what the heck is Sony? Don't even know at this point. I don't know why I'm still rambling on about this. I need to shut this video down right now. This is like probably the closest I might have as an actual rant for State of Play just in general though, because like Sony, you can do some things right half the time though, but then the other half of the time I'm like, I don't understand like what's going on with the management and all of this stuff. Like, yes, we know that y'all cancel a whole bunch of live service games and stuff, so that kind of brings to the question, like, what in the world are y'all making business wise or decision making in terms of like where the future of this company is going? Like, we had some changes with leadership and everything else like that. Like, look, someone's got to answer to all of this. That's all I'm saying. I know there's some frustrated people out there, myself included, maybe a lot of y'all out there as well. Some of y'all that might be watching this video right now, but like, oh shoot, Sony, you need to get your mess together. All right, thank you for tuning in to my TED Talk right here. I didn't think it was going to get that heated towards the second half of this video. Look, I try to stay positive, and I'm a very optimistic person. If you hadn't seen any of my other past videos, though, but like this one right here, I don't know, this is like the straw that broke the camel's back, because I just did not enjoy watching this showcase off in general. Like, there was a handful of stuff that I liked. Metal Gear Solid Delta, cool stuff right there. The Shinobi stuff, that was really cool right there. Then you managed to have like Digimon being a surprise or whatever though. But Sony, like, come on, first parties, like we got to get this stuff fixed. We got to get it fixed. All right, well, that's gonna basically do it in terms of today's video though. But I'm curious to hear all of your thoughts down in the comment section down below. What all do you think about this presentation? Do you rank it, and give me a letter grade down in the comments? Like, what do you rank it as, A, B, C? I was leaning at C at first, and then now I sat on it a little bit more. This is like a D or an F presentation. I'm just giving it to y'all point blank. All right, that's gonna be it. I'm not gonna kick any more dirt up right here though, but that's gonna do it for today's video though. So if you really like it, make sure you're gonna hit that like button, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. So remember y'all, until our video I make next, see y'all.